All right, so this is the Parks Commission meeting for February 24th, with everyone present. Let me just. Yes, technically we'll call to order, but I don't know. We've always been fairly informal. I don't know. I mean, there's certain things we got to take like a formal vote on. We're not, of course, super picky. So I think the main thing probably is field use.
Okay.
I don't know what else I sent out. So I emailed the website just to kind of send you all our.
Yeah, I walked through it.
I
didn't realize it was so complex though. Like,
yeah, I have to say I didn't think it was that complex until I went through it all.
but I mean, the costs are reasonable. Like,
yeah, and a lot of that, like, it's not like we're really having big, huge fights over stuff. It was just trying to make sure everything was documented.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There are some changes. So one thing we did change is we used to allow people to reserve the pavilion.
Okay.
For like a birthday party. We didn't charge them a fee.
Yeah.
And we decided to start charging the $25 minimum. I think I double checked. I think we said it was just 25. We're not going to do the incremental non-resident thing.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
We figured it's been enough time that.
Was it like for collection of trash and stuff afterwards, like cleanup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of what they're going to ask me at the budget meeting tonight is just, I think there's this mindset that we probably should be trying to recover some amount of costs and everything. You know, it doesn't necessarily cost me $25 for somebody to use the pavilion, but
that will help pay
to have some investment and
it also keeps people from reserving it and then not showing up.
I think that kind of the push is to see us cover some of our own costs. And so actually with the budget, they had been talking about trying to charge part of my salary to revolving. And what I ended up suggesting to Jeremy is instead of doing that, why don't we just move the beach over?
Yep.
And that's the same amount, it's around $10,000, but it's just way easier. And then we're not splitting my pay 5 ways.
Yeah.
And the same effect.
So
we'll see. And he was fine with it. I assume that's what he's recommending.
Yeah. Okay.
So I tweaked the revolving numbers a little bit to account for that, but it doesn't necessarily change anything. Let me see. So that was a change. Yeah, and then what we've done in the past is the commission votes to approve league usage, the fee waiver program, events with alcohol, things like using the concession stands if there's a scheduling conflict. And then I individually approve small requests, like normal daytime requests. That's kind of how we've been doing it.
So are we having a meeting when we have an issue that we need to review, or there's some that happen so quickly that it's an email?
I think if there were a problem, it's more so like we'll get, like I have the requests, so like there's 2 groups requesting the same time.
Okay.
And usually we try and get them to work it out, but there have been times where we said, listen, you get Tuesday, Thursday, you get Monday, Friday, and too bad. I know, we've been pretty good for we had an issue several years ago where a group caused some damage, and once we finally talked about it, it was fixed. I think what happens a lot is they want to get out there and play, and sometimes the fields are wet.
Yep.
And that doesn't necessarily occur to them in the moment that what they're doing is
like so when I was working with the soccer program, I used to go up to Grover, and if it was spongy, it was like we'd cancel practices and games. And
and I think generally, like baseball, softball have managed their own field, so we've kind of taken the approach: you want to wreck Pazella infield, go for it. They're just going to be the ones fixing it. So we're not too worried about it. The one that's tricky is a Tatro field. Is very wet in the spring. That whole field in the back is just flat. It wasn't necessarily.
There's no pitch to it, or
it should have been done.
So
that can be tricky. Let me just flip through this. If there was anything else that stuck out.
So is there like a master scheduling calendar for the fields?
Yeah, what I've been using is I believe it's back to Google.
Okay.
a Google Calendar, which either is, let me see if I did it yet. It will be on the website. I think that was the change with the new website and
Okay.
whether I wanted to integrate it or not.
Mhm.
So I can send you that. It was on the old website. There was an
Yeah.
embedded Google Calendar that you could see everything.
But view only though.
Yeah.
So somebody can't overwrite.
Yeah, I don't want
somebody
anybody
else.
over.
Yeah. I mean, we were using Civic Rec. The problem is it treats, like if you put in a season,
Mm-hmm.
it puts every day as a like entry, which
Yep.
is really obnoxious.
Okay.
And then like if you give up Tuesday and I want to switch it, now I got to go in there and change your registration.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know,
Yeah,
hands
well,
in the butt.
even with Google, with a series of events, you can change
Right.
individual events if you want.
And so like, you know, like baseball puts in their request and the
Yep.
fee is $1,000,
Yeah.
but they end up waiving the fee with the capital thing anyway.
Yeah,
If somebody else comes in and says, I want this one-off date and they say it's free,
yeah,
I'm not going to change it. Like I just update the schedule and say this person's here today.
Okay.
And I'm not rebilling baseball for $999.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah.
And most of our uses have been through this waiver.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer usually pays the fee, although more recently they did request a waiver for the shed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They put the shed down at Grover.
Yeah, we had, and they've recently done some extensive work on that field.
Oh, okay.
They aerated it and reseeded it and fertilized it pretty aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
And then we agreed to waive the fees for baseball, softball for 5 years, I think through 27. For the lights, because
Yeah.
we donated 24,500 for the lights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why, and I've told the town, so like every fence you see, every building,
Yeah.
we didn't pay for anything.
Yeah.
So that's a far bigger benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see. I want to skip the lighting for a second. Is anything else that I noted? Yeah. So in terms of, I think for the lighting policy, I was trying to get some information from the leagues and I got a little bit of guidance. Let me just see if he just answered me on one thing. For the nonprofit leagues, I think what makes sense is to tell them, request the lights up, like as you figure out when you need the lights, request them. We'll keep track at the end of the season. We'll bill you for the actual usage.
Okay.
Like I think we know they're good for it versus a for-profit group. If they're coming in,
You'll just charge.
I think they should pay them right up front for the lights.
Yes.
You know, but somebody that we have a relationship with that
Mhm.
books the season, that's the easiest to manage. And then that gives them the opportunity, if they don't need the lights, they can just shoot me a text and say, turn them off. We're
Yeah.
done at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way I can set it so I think people can call in to turn them off.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. It's a call center
Oh, okay.
and they seem to want that. Like there's an app, but I can't give you access to the app without giving you full access. Like
Yeah.
I can't just give you turn off only.
Yeah.
So I guess they want the calls.
Yeah.
Um,
Does the call-in center charge us?
No. So when they put the lights in, I call the lady. I'm like, so, you know, can you just explain to me how this works? Like, I assume this, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to be a fee.
Mhm.
25 years, I think
Yeah.
it's included, or 50, whatever the warranty of the lights are. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, we did just spend, you know, $200,000 in lights.
Yeah.
I think like if a fixture goes, we'd have to pay to fix that.
Yeah.
Um,
And those lights must be good for, they're LED.
The LED and
Yeah.
those boxes are the drivers, which is the part that's likely to have a problem. So
Mhm.
that's much more accessible than
Yeah.
going all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think that's what I'm thinking to do. And then in terms of the timing, and then the only thing I'm going to tell them, they've got to get us the dates
Mm-hmm.
instead of like texting me an hour before.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. The likelihood of that getting missed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we were pretty good about it. And then the other thing is the timing. So the park closes at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think towards the end we had it so we had the lights, like they would be done by 10. The lights would turn off at 10:30.
Yep.
That way they're not shutting off at anybody. And I don't really know what a good policy is. I was kind of thinking that maybe requests for later hours should come to the commission, potentially be limited to like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know, just trying to think
Yeah.
about being a good neighbor and not having, you know, the park active until midnight, 7 days.
Yeah. I mean, how often is like that?
I don't think, you know, I think it's going to be the occasional playoff games and bigger events.
Mm-hmm.
so I think tentatively what I was going to say is games end at 10, lights scheduled till 10:30. If there's playoffs,
Are they typically, like, over the last seasons, have they been using it all the way till 10?
we only had the lights for the summer into the fall.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think we've had, it's the spring where they have all the big
okay.
playoffs and all
Yep.
that. I don't know if we fully worked that out yet. And that's the same with the tournaments. And I think the other thing is we want to tell them all, we want a separate application for tournaments.
Yeah, I think that's a good policy.
Ran into some trouble, and that way we can communicate to John and make sure they know if there's extra maintenance.
Yep.
Because generally they're going there on a Wednesday and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I would think after so much history in the town with baseball and softball and soccer, they would pretty well know what their schedules are going to be like over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been, and hopefully the lights will help. It's only recently that they've hosted a few of these tournaments in Mendon that they finally got the fields to a good level.
Yeah,
they got the fencing.
Yep.
I think softball, from what I gather, that's one of the only fields with a home run fence for softball in Mendon, other than the school field.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the deal. And then we had talked previously that me and AJ about some additional fees. And what I said 250 each. So an event that has sale or consumption of alcohol, an event that involves tents, an event that involves vehicles on the field, and then what I'm calling a large event, which is more than 100 people or a tournament. And each one of those would be a $250 fee. And I don't know. I don't know if that's a good number, or if it just seems like some of these events, there's potential impact to the field. And like you have Soccer Fest. It's a major fundraiser.
Yep.
They're making tens of thousands of dollars, and then they're potentially paying nothing. Now, granted, they may turn around and we might waive that fee, but at least it's documented. And we said, you did this work. You did $10,000 worth of work. The fee was $500. The way it's all.
And well, if there's any damage, like the soccer thing that year that it really rained, and we had to put all that stuff, all the hay down to keep the fields from getting completely destroyed.
There's got to be pictures of that somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
That was a unbelievable. It was like, I think we had a hurricane come through.
Yeah.
And it saturated the field, and it was like a foot of mud.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wore boots. The amount of destruction on that field was spectacular. And they came, Dennis, I don't know who he had do it. They came with a machine, flattened it all out again.
Dennis had some good contact.
He had somebody, but that was like unbelievable. And I think we've gone back and forth with them trying to find better locations for that event.
Yeah.
Although I think the membership has declined, but it's so high impact. All those people in that tent.
Yeah, I don't think it was as successful this past fall. The one year we did it during when Triple E was an issue, we did it in the Clough Gym, which actually worked out pretty well.
The schools do not allow alcohol, and from what I gather, there was a miscommunication, and they decided to make a one-time exception for that event. But unless something's changed, they will not permit any event with alcohol on their property for anything.
Yeah, the other option for them, I think, is BVT. BVT will allow alcohol.
I'd love to get it on the tennis court, and unfortunately, I don't know if there's a way to get the tent up in a way that's safe for the tennis surface, because it's like it's like they're on the ground here. It's like turf, and then they put sand in it and put like this rubberized coating over it.
Okay.
So it's like soft.
Yeah.
But like a metal pole would probably dig into it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thought about that one year when we were talking about locations, and the tennis courts are great size. Like, it's a great size. It's just getting that tent over it.
I don't remember if you were there. I feel like we walked it with somebody, Chris, maybe.
Yeah, it was probably Chris.
Tried to find there's not a lot of options.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to redo Grady Field, I think, finally clean it up. So that too, we'll have to.
Which one's Grady Field?
The little T-ball field.
Oh, okay.
I think that the lesson is if there was a big storm with a massive amount of rain, I think we had like a whole week of nonstop rain.
Yeah.
We'd have to reconsider. There's the back parking lot, but then they lose some of their parking. That's another area that doesn't matter. But anyway, and then the other fee that I I'm not sure if we need to do or think about, or if is potentially concession stands. I don't know.
So the concession stand is that really only used with like Little League?
It's from what I gather at this point. Yeah, they're town buildings. We own them.
Yep.
It's pretty much their stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's just baseball and softball. I think it's hit or miss how active they are. I think the softball one has picked up a little more.
Does the softball have their own concession stand over by the softball field? Okay, I didn't even realize that.
They have no running water over there, septic. So I think they just do pre-cooked stuff, and I think they do opening day. Baseball does a little more. I kind of got the impression that baseball was just doing like opening day playoffs, and that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe it seemed like this year they were a little more active.
Yeah.
I forget his name, the guy who's running it.
Not Trevor. Is it Trevor Kelby?
No, it was somebody from Upton. Oh, and I think I went to school with him or something.
Yeah.
And then Upton, I think now is Lauren Tatro.
Okay.
So I don't know if the town is paying the electric bill for those buildings.
Is that you?
It's Joanne.
Oh,
hi, Joanne. Sorry.
Hi,
You're behind
guys.
us. Didn't even. Yeah, so the town is paying the electric bill.
Okay.
So that's the only question, is if there's going to be a push to try and recoup some of those costs.
What are we talking for electric bill for that place? Is that metered separately from other buildings?
So Lowell is.
Yep.
Sorry, I looked it up. I don't know if I can find it now.
And because that should
not a lot.
Only be using power from like, I don't know.
It's the fridges.
Yeah, early April, because they should be unplugging those during the.
Oh yeah, we should have been down. So
yeah.
that one, I want to say it's under 500 a year.
Yeah.
The baseball one is metered with all the lights. Actually, the Lowell one's got the lights on it too. So it's a matter of tracking that.
Yeah.
I have been splitting the lights. So like we turned the lights on for the public to use the basketball court.
Yep.
And I put them on the low setting, so it was like $80 a year for all that. That I'm charging to the town account, but like when baseball has has the lights, that's getting billed to the revolving account because they're paying the fee that's going into the revolving fund.
Just out of curiosity, any idea what it would be? Say we didn't have lights there and they wanted to bring in some rental lights. It would probably be for a 2 or 3 day period, probably like $1,500.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they've done it years ago. They did that 24-hour.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. A long time.
Yeah, it was.
and I know Chris has been. He never got back to me. I know he was looking at options for like Clough and Grover, but I think because of its location, that's a tricky field to have too much activity on.
It's got terrible. Grover's got terrible parking.
Well, yeah, we need a new field, big time. But that's what these costs are. These are the actual costs. It's like $440, but $450 an hour to run at full power.
Yeah.
And then if you knock the lighting level down, it discounts it significantly. But for a game, they probably should have full lighting.
Yeah. So call it $5 an hour.
So that's how I came up with those. And I just took our same, so doubled it for group 2 and then times 5 for group 3 and 10 for group 4, which that'll be the ideal. If we can get a couple of these club teams to come in there and book these lights and pay the $45 an hour.
Yeah.
Then we're in great shape. I'd even go, if we had consistent use of those fields, we could even have another conversation about the local youth sports and how much we really truly need to charge them. If the costs are being offset by other users. We have to cover the costs. I can't go back to the town and say,
it only makes sense that we should be able to. And then it doesn't seem like the costs are outrageous.
No, we'll see. I'm curious to see how much they end up making use of them. I think they'll have to figure out how they're going to schedule and how that works for what they want to do. Because I think the lights let them double up on games.
Yeah.
So you could have like a game and then another one start after it gets dark. Let me see, was there anything else? Oh, and then then we have all the requests. So softball has not submitted yet. I've emailed they put me in touch with somebody else,
Mhm.
but there's no competition for that. It's a standard request. I believe it's usually Monday through Friday, like 4 to 10 now
Yeah.
for the lights, and then
So the lights are on the softball field as well?
yeah,
Yeah.
softball. It's Pazella and Lowell.
Yep.
Pazella,
Mhm.
Pazella baseball field, Lowell softball field.
Yep.
So from 4 to 10, they rotate amongst their teams.
Yeah, I don't know. And then they booked Lowell and they booked the little T-ball field. I
Mhm.
think they also use the field at Nisco through the schools, and I think Upton does. Upton has a softball field, but I'm not sure if they use it.
The
Up at-
varsity softball field is in
Up
the
at,
back behind Nipmuc.
Yeah, no, at Kiwanis.
Oh, at Kiwanis.
There's a softball field, but I don't
Yes,
think
there
Nipmuc
is. You're right. There is, because the women's leagues play there.
Yeah.
Up by the tennis courts area.
Down below the tennis
Oh,
courts, like
yeah.
right as you go
Yeah,
in the
you're right.
parking
That's
lot
right.
behind there,
Yeah.
there's a softball field.
Actually played on it before.
I am trying to. We have just haven't coordinated a date. I'm going to meet with Chris Schmidt, the athletic director for
Yeah.
Mendon, and then Scott Glassman at Nisco,
Okay.
and Rick Lacrosse in Upton.
Yeah.
I guess
Yep.
he's on their rec commission, so I guess he does all the field use, even though they have
Oh,
a
okay.
director.
Yeah.
I assume Maria handled it, but I guess he does. So we're trying to meet to talk through all the field use projects and what they're doing and scheduling. I guess Memorial's coming offline, so now lacrosse needs space.
Okay.
So once I have that meeting, then I'll be able to report back what the impact is. It sounds like it's next fall.
Okay.
They're going to shut down a lot of their field.
Yeah, because the construction's supposed to start over the summer.
I know Nipmuc, one of the footballs, flag football or youth football, reached out already.
Yeah.
They have summer use is a problem because we have nothing in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to need to have a conversation about Grover Field and potentially splitting it up for just that one season. And it may not be able to be just exclusively men and Upton youth soccer.
Yeah.
Or there's other, if I'm looking at this, like Upton has a soccer field. Then there's the West River field. Then there's Memorial, which will hopefully be back online.
Memorial had the Memorial in Upton, nice. Those were nice fields. They took really good care of those.
But I guess something with the irrigation system and
Yeah.
taking it offline again.
Oh, okay.
And they tell the school you can use it.
Yeah,
Shut it
they
down.
are very Upton is very protective of their fields.
We've never done that. Clough is kind of a dump. I wish Clough was bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Clough at one point had a baseball field.
From what I remember, it had a baseball and a softball
Yeah.
field, but they shared an outfield.
Oh, okay.
So you could only use one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think there had to, not a full-size soccer field, but there was a good amount of space. It's because they had to build the building around the building to
Uh-huh.
make it all work.
It was a long time ago.
And I don't think there was the amount of parking that there was now at the old building.
Mm-hmm.
They had a tennis court too.
They did?
They had tennis courts.
Is that where the basketball court is? Was that a tennis court at one point?
No, it's probably in the vicinity where the playground is now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They had like an old school metal jungle gym, on pavement,
Yeah. Oh man.
metal slides.
Yeah.
I remember that building. That was a cool building. Anyway, so that's a softball request. I think my suggestion would be if you're okay with their generic request, we can approve it pending their application.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Baseball, same deal. It's their generic request. So they're looking for Pazella Field. It's Monday through Friday, like 4:30 p.m. to 10, and all day Saturdays, no Sundays. Grady Field and Grant Field the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tetra Field, they just want Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping to see if we could get somebody else on the outfield at Tetro, but it's so wet in the spring.
Yeah.
They're not really usable till May.
Mm-hmm.
But that might be an option for lacrosse if they need some more space once it dries out.
Yeah.
So who determines when the field's open for the season?
I guess we do. So they'll have opening day, and I still haven't gotten an answer as to when it is.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they do their own kind of cleanup the week before. And they kind of work together with us. And I think that's now with this new grounds department. We'll work with Mike and John and kind of make sure everybody's cool with everything being stabilized. Usually they dry out. This will be interesting to see what happens with all the snow and how it melts.
Geez, yeah.
The challenge with the park is it's got like it's 4 foot and then it's clay, so it saturates and then it doesn't drain.
Oh, okay.
And so like that, like the area where those Gaga ball pits are now
Mm-hmm.
is very wet. Some of the outfield can get wet.
Yeah.
And then the backfields get wet.
Yeah. Yeah, I would guess this would be a tough year to start right away.
So this will be tricky. I know like soccer always wants to start wicked early.
Yep.
And like you said, they're usually good about making sure that field is okay. Grover, though, drains really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Clough, they did something to Clough. I think Clough is better than it's been.
It used to be terrible.
I think they fixed something with the well. But yeah, so that's their request. And then the other thing, they had been booking Clough. So they're looking for Clough Tuesday, Thursdays, and then 4:30 to dark, which I'm going to put as 8:30, and then Saturdays 8 to noon. But then soccer also wants Clough Monday through Friday, 4 to 8 p.m. and then Saturdays 12 to 5. I think in the past we had told them to just alternate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely clear what baseball is doing at Clough. I think it's the littlest kids, and it's more space for like the t-ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then soccer obviously wants Grover. Same thing, Monday through Friday. So I think that's what I'm going to send back to soccer is that if baseball can do Tuesday, Thursday, they can do Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep.
Because then also, what he sent me in Upton, they've also got the Kiwanis Field Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and they've got the West River Field, and they've got Grover. And that's what we did.
That must be the program must be getting huge now. It sounds like
That's
this
a
is.
lot.
I think soccer is growing, and I think actually think baseball and soccer.
Are they using NEFC fields at all? Do you know?
I don't know.
Because for a while
At
they were
one point
using
it was
U8 was using no U10 was using the NEFC fields.
and I don't know. I know they had some sort of special price worked out
Yeah.
because I believe it's $150 an hour with lights over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I almost want to say they've done like playoffs and stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. And then the other requests, so Nipmuc Youth Lacrosse reached out because of the issue with Memorial. It looks like we could actually accommodate their weekend use at Grover, and it skips its opposite of soccer's use, so it's fine. Soccer,
Do they do Sundays or something?
they're Saturday 9 to 12, and soccer wanted what was it?
I'm surprised soccer didn't want it early in the morning on Saturdays. Usually that was
Soccer wanted 12 to 6. You know what? They used to have a men's league.
Oh, okay.
And then I think Chris took it over, and I don't know if it
Yeah.
still exists. Maybe it was a bunch of coaches that wanted to have like a rec league.
I did it for a few years with them, but this was going.
The guy that did it.
This is going back like 8 or 9 years. Like,
And they used to kind of book it. So the only concern is there's got to be a gap because I know the parking stinks.
Yep.
We'll need to make sure lacrosse understands that like you can't have back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Because the parking overloads.
Yeah, you need at least
the
a
neighbors
half
get
hour.
upset if they're all parking down the street for miles and miles, and that's kind of a tricky area. Yeah, then soccer's not on Sunday at all. So the only issue for lacrosse would be that they wanted Tuesday, Thursdays at Memorial. So I think we don't really have that, and maybe they could have that on Tatro later on.
Yeah,
especially for
it's out.
practice.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I don't know what the schools have in the spring too.
Now, would they line like when lacrosse is doing this? Are they lining the fields with lacrosse lines?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. If they, I know each league does their own lining.
Yeah.
I think they bought one now. Soccer bought the robot. Right?
Oh, that's right. They did buy the robot. I heard that.
Somebody from Oxford had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does the field lining. I guess I think it uses GPS, and you just give it a corner and push the button, and it just goes and does its thing. It's like
I want to see it in action.
It's
I have to
pretty
ask Chris if I can see it. 'Cause
Cool.
I used to do the lining at the first lining of the season where we'd go and
right.
map it all out and string and tape measures and
Yeah.
Because I think at one point I was talking to the guy to see if he could come out and paint pickleball lines on our old tennis courts before we repainted them with
Oh,
the
yeah.
paint, but then it ended up not working. The timing didn't work out.
Well, the pickleball line, the
Well,
course.
they did it next day. We did it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was because I was talking to somebody about doing it, and I'm like, I'm not going up there. We can't spray paint. Like, we need to not have this look like crap.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
But then we redid them, so it didn't matter. And then the other,
Change the color? Or are you just supposed to?
I think in the
Know where
like
it is.
like you do like soccer be white and lacrosse would need to be like orange or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how different they are.
Yeah, I think the lacrosse field is huge. But I guess the soccer field is pretty big, but the goal on a lacrosse field is up in the field of play.
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I know soccer's a little weird because it's like it's a range. It's
Yeah,
like 90
soccer
to
can be,
100
it has to be from like
something, and
100 to 115 yards or
yeah,
something,
like it's
or
not
120 yards.
kind of like baseball with
Oh,
all
it's
of them
not
different.
specific.
Yeah,
There's just a range you have to do. And then the ratio, I think, has to be the same though. Like if you can't have it really long but narrow, it has to have like that right ratio.
yeah.
If you have it 100 yards, it can only be so wide.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the width might be specified.
Oh, maybe.
The one that's crazy is cricket.
Oh,
So somebody reached out to us about it, asking, and so I
Yeah.
started researching it. It's like 300 feet in like clear all around. I said to the guy, I'm like, I don't think we own a property big enough to
Yeah.
hold this. It's like it's wild.
Yeah. There's a field on the way
In the
from
middle has to
Upton
have like
into
a strip. Yeah, there's a.
into Westboro. There's cricket field.
I mean, I do think if we built something new, it's worth exploring because
I think so.
It sounds like there's some interest in it. But
Well, especially because you could use it for paper use.
yeah, well, it has to have a. Well, yeah, right. It has to have some sort of like the middle part is like basically a concrete strip, so you can't even have that in the middle of another field.
Yeah.
Like it's or like it's
I don't think I knew
like
that.
a dirt, some sort of like solid, or
Yeah.
you can be grass, but it has to be like
I'll have
sports
to take a closer look at the Westboro one.
I forget the specs now, but it was something. It was like 350 feet. It was outrageous. I don't know. Yeah, and then the other request we got is Hopedale High School reached out. They would like to book our tennis courts in the spring because their courts are offline because they're doing their park. That doesn't conflict with anything. It was March to June, but it was like after school. The only problem
That's for
she's
high school, not the
yeah.
lessons they do for the summer, right?
no, I haven't heard about that. She just asked me about the high school
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
The only issue is I don't think they're going to be clear by March 16th by a long shot. We generally don't do any. Certainly on those courts we don't plow, but we don't even plow that lot.
Yeah.
Which we could, but we just leave it. And some neighbors plow a few spaces, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna. They would pay the group 2 rate,
Mm-hmm.
which is the nonprofit, but not Mendon Upton, so the $2 an hour.
Yeah.
I think she didn't have specific dates yet.
Mhm.
And then that's pretty much it. There'll be the summer basketball. Usually baseball and softball have usually softball season ends July 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually consider that kind of one larger request.
Yeah.
And baseball will have separate, like a summer league.
Yeah. In addition to their
And then there'll be fall stuff. Very rarely soccer's done stuff in the summer, but
Mm-hmm.
and then I got that.
So soccer was doing, the high school was doing like a
Yeah, it was
summer
like
league.
with the soccer or something.
So the captains, the parents would run like a soccer league because the coaches of the teams couldn't participate because it was against MIA regulations.
Oh, right.
So the parents would run the team, which was basically the boys and girls varsity teams competing against other local places. And that would start, I think, in June is when.
Yeah, I mean, I know we kind of took it offline, and hopefully now this year, barring any more disasters with the irrigation system, we can put a 3rd well pump in.
Oh, really?
So we shut it down for COVID. I don't know if you heard this whole saga. I know they were. I mean, it was just everything sucked about it. Put the new shed in, rebuilt the whole irrigation.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Turns out well pump's dead.
Oh.
So it's like a massive well pump. It's on 4-inch galvanized steel pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to call somebody to get somebody with a crane out there, pull the whole thing, replace the pump, got it all set going. ran for a whole year, winterized,
Yeah.
got it back up the next year, ran for a month, dropped dead.
Oh man.
Pump died again, completely burned up.
Yeah.
So then soccer ended up finding that somebody lives over there that runs a commercial like consulting business for like facility management
Mm-hmm.
that had an irrigation expert. So they came out and did a whole assessment. Their recommendation was to space out the zones, and they thought maybe we pumped the well dry in between.
Oh.
And so it burned the pump up.
Yeah.
And it ran the rest of that season all the way into the fall,
Yeah.
but it's like $5,000 every time we get the pump. It's wicked expensive.
Oh yeah. I remember when I had to replace mine at home, it was expensive.
And he pulled it up off the ground too, a little bit higher. So I don't know. That's been kind of an adventure over there, because that field really needs some. It's got a lot of crabgrass.
Yeah.
And Mike Belacqua is in the process of getting a pesticide license, the grounds foreman.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe his plan, that'll be handled by John and them, but they're going to hopefully in-house a lot of that work
Oh, okay.
instead of contracting it out.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, save some money. I mean, we had a great person, but it was really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's pretty much it for field use for right now. There was something else. I don't know what it was. Oh, and the other huge thing, and I got to talk to John just to confirm that they're really doing it. They're going to do, we talked about doing a road. Like, you know where the gate ends behind the tennis courts?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Extending that all the way across to Pizzella.
Okay.
It would have gates. It'd be like a
Yeah.
gravel roadway.
Uh-huh.
Partially because they wrecked it with the lights, and then we were thinking rather than fix this.
Yeah.
Let's make it a road.
Yeah.
The huge thing is we'll use that for the drop-off pickup for the camp,
Oh.
which will
Okay.
then, we were having a lot of conflicts with baseball in that parking lot because
Yeah.
they want to show up
Yeah.
by 4:30,
Yeah.
and we're still have camp. And with the camp, they take up that whole thing with a big loop.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So this way, you can drive right across, drive out. It'll solve so many scheduling problems.
Yeah.
I said to John, like, we can pay for the materials, like, we're ready to go. Like, that's huge. If
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So what do you have to do? Just gravel it or?
Yeah, they're gonna bring in asphalt millings.
Oh, asphalt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The key is, they have the machinery, and
Just the millings that are.
it's like
Right.
ground up asphalt.
Yeah.
So that's why that way back parking lot is beautiful, and the front is terrible, because the back they did with millings,
Okay.
and the front is just gravel, and it just washes out. He did get a quote on a retaining wall, but it was $100,000.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Which is, it'd be beautiful, but that's a ton of money.
Where would they put that along, like the?
Along all of Millville Road parking lot.
Oh. Okay.
Like, if you could straighten that out
Yeah.
and have something to catch all the water.
Mm-hmm.
He did it at NEFC. You can paint the gravel.
Yes. Yeah. I saw it at NEFC. It's all painted.
Now they paved it, but before that, and it lasted a couple of years. And I think that would help you park it,
Yeah.
because then there'd be lines. People wouldn't park all over. Because there's not enough parking over there at all. But I don't know if we talked about this at the last meeting. Let me just put this on a clean document so I don't screen share thing that's on the screen here. Oh, come on, where's the mouse? Window. Where's the thing I just did? Document. This was kind of a real rough budget of, oh, none of you can see it. That's awesome. Sorry.
Looks good.
There it is.
Just a real rough budget of kind of the projects I had sent to John. So redoing, we need more mulch in the playground badly.
Yeah.
Gotta have
Is that like the rubber stuff or is it?
It's wood, but it's a special type of wood.
Okay.
But it's really low. But again, they have the equipment, so they can get somebody with the loader, and that's a 3-hour
Mhm.
job versus 3 days by hand and wheelbarrow.
Right.
Grady's batter's box is the little fenced-in cages by the Grady Field.
Oh yeah.
I want to rip the grass out and put in like crushed stone
Mhm.
because they're stupid to mow.
Oh, yeah, that could
Um,
that'd be difficult.
Yeah, the Pizzella, that batters area, the fence needs to be redone. It's all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an estimate. We have to get a price. I included the benches have been ordered for the playground. They're hopefully going to install them in the spring, but they'll need concrete and stuff. So I budgeted for that. Beach sand. There's a piece of the guardrail at Veterans that needs to be replaced. The roadway we talked about, painting the Taft lot, filling in all the holes by the pavilion, and then just fertilizer. The town paid half, and
Yep.
we paid the other half out of field use. And then at one point, we had Wenzel Christian paying some of that. So that's like 19,000.
Is the sand for the beach, is that something we have to do every year?
On and off, we haven't done it in a few years. So that's part of the.
How is the erosion there? Is it as bad as it used to be?
It's 1,000 times better.
Yep.
The one problem we're having is the corner, like where the wall starts. That was not a good design, and so it's exposing the gravel underneath.
Yeah.
And we need to probably do something different there. But in the short term, we need to bring in a ton of sand and bury it again.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only bad thing. I mean, I would love to do irrigation down there because the grass is still shit. And then I'd love to do irrigation on Tatro Field. Is the other one that I think would benefit from it up there.
Those don't have any irrigation now at all.
No, so there's irrigation on Grant Field. So you could use the same well.
Okay.
And just pull off of it.
Grant's the smaller one.
Yeah. Right? The two in the back.
Yeah, the two. Yeah.
And so they just can't run. And then same with the beach. We have a well, the old beach well.
Yeah.
And I probably have to redo the line. There's a chance the pump is no good because it's been 15 years now. But that's a huge expense saved by not having to drill a new well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We had talked about maybe going to CPA. I mean, we have some money. I'm budgeting $25,000 towards various field stuff. And I know John is asking for more money in his budget for just general expenses. I think the idea is that we shouldn't have to have all these volunteers donating materials and time and labor. If we need more infield material I don't think it's major stuff. It's, get a truckload of infield at the beginning of the season. And then they can spread it.
Yeah, I remember the baseball leagues used to have like that big cleanup day.
Yeah, and I think they still do that. It's Chris Collins with softball and Matt Story, assuming he is the baseball one. They're both landscapers.
Oh, okay.
So we've been very fortunate that they can donate their expertise and their bigger equipment and do work. If that can, and then I think soccer had somebody too. Oh, I forget the guy's name. They had a landscaper too that was helping them.
Oh, okay.
That. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of where we're at for that. We need to maybe go through and review all the capital projects and kind of figure out where we are. I know at the last CPA meeting, I don't know if it's worth requesting funding. I just feel like we don't necessarily have the bandwidth to see through any projects right now. I just want to ask for money and then just do nothing with it.
Yeah.
And I also I don't want to go to them and ask for money without having quotes, and we don't really have we don't really have the quotes for like irrigation and stuff like that yet.
No, just stuff like that. Does that have to go out to bid, or is it just our responsibility to?
It depends. I think it's 50,000.
Okay.
If it's under 50,000, you need 3 quotes.
Yep.
It's 50 or 25. And I think there's different thresholds. If it's over that, you have to do a formal procurement process.
Oh, okay.
But it's prevailing wage.
Yeah.
So they pay more unless it's somebody that's a sole proprietor. They can just do whatever they want. But if you have employees, you have to pay prevailing wage, and then presumably you include that. So that becomes a little more complicated. I know. I'd like to get an irrigation people to look at these two and give us pricing on them.
Well, and it'd be nice to, if we can keep it under those thresholds of
Yeah, well, that's my hope. I mean, I think the beach is a fairly small job. Tatrum, I feel like I got a number years and years ago that was 25,000. That's a much bigger job.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think the other is just another field somewhere.
Mhm.
I don't know if we're necessarily ready for a full-on athletic complex, but at least just another generic practice field. I mean, it's funny to circle back to Soccer Fest. I'd love to look at that dump property off of Bellingham Street. It's the Old Town dump.
Where is it?
It's,
Is it the one where there's a gate there?
There's no gate. No, it's near there though. It says Dump Road. It's where Dean's School of Dance was.
Okay.
But it's this big, huge parcel, and maybe I don't know if there would be like a way that the town could buy it or sign some sort of agreement. Like that's a perfect fairground because you can't do anything on it.
Yeah,
it's a capped landfill.
I didn't even realize we
go digging.
So I don't know.
So it's on as you're going from Mendon into Bellingham. It's on the left.
If you're going that way, be on your left.
Okay. Kind of behind the.
There's like a road. There's a sign for the School of Dance.
Yep,
there's a road that goes way back, and there's like it's weird. It's like this little house, and I think the studio's attached, and then it's just all around it is the dump, and then there's hay, I think.
Yeah,
that's for
I'd only been there once a couple months ago. I hadn't been there ever before.
Oh, look at Natick. They put a golf course over there. So.
Yeah.
Because you think like this Mendon Fest event or Rock the Block, I mean, it's nice they can do it at the park, but
if you had a facility like that with good parking too.
When like somebody from the school, they wanted to do a carnival, reached out, and those destroy whenever they go on.
Yeah.
So to have somewhere that we don't necessarily care about the surface.
Yeah.
Dan,
replant it or whatever and let it, level it out again and call it a day. It'd be interesting. I don't know, what the future is like of the center of town here.
Because the Route 16?
Yeah, with just the property, the property back there.
Gotcha.
We have all that land.
Yep.
Right.
There's paddock property we bought, which I know they wanted housing, but I mean, I don't know. They were supposed to be like a field study committee, and it kind of never went anywhere. And then I was going to try and make like an inventory of all our fields, and I haven't really gotten that yet. I think that's everything for right now. I don't even want to try and set another meeting date now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can organize my. I do have a bunch going on for a couple of weeks, and then I have more time. Maybe tentatively, like the week of I don't know, end of March. I mean, I think we'll find out what I learned at this field meeting, and then potentially I was thinking it might be worth having a meeting with all the youth groups.
Oh yeah.
To kind of talk through, because I think next fall is going to be difficult.
Well, especially with the big project going on at Nipmuc, and they're scrambling to find space, and so I know like football is going to end up playing in Northbridge, soccer is going to play at NAFC, I think.
Yeah, the schools aren't as big of a deal because they're right after school.
Yeah.
It's the youth sport that are losing Misco completely. Yep. So I think right now they're splitting it up between football, and I think there's 2 football programs.
Yeah, it's a flag football
and then a physical football.
Yep. Yeah, one of them uses the real football field, the other one sets up a field on that.
So I think between that and trying to make sure we can accommodate
it. When is field hockey? Is that a fall sport?
They're in the fall, I think. Okay. They've booked Clough a couple times. They've used that, like in the back, that weird triangle space just as practice space. I think they have a game field somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's in Mendon.
Yeah, I think they may use Kiwanis.
Yeah. He didn't have that. Rick sent me like a master spreadsheet where he was putting it, but I didn't see field hockey on there yet. I'll have to ask about that.
Is that Misco that does the field hockey?
I don't know. There's a Nipmuc youth field hockey.
Yeah,
think
there's
it's,
like a youth program.
Bodio.
Yeah, she was running it.
Somebody else whose name I'm forgetting. Who does?
Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly Kovacs.
Yeah.
And I think Kristen Schmidt was part of it as well.
So there's a bunch of like new. I mean, that's the thing. I think they just built ball fields because that's all we had. And
Yeah.
now there's all these new so-called new sports that are suddenly overtaking or more popular. And I almost think we have too many. We have basically three baseball fields.
Yeah.
One soccer field, 1.5 soccer fields, and a softball. Technically two softball fields.
So where's the other? So
The t-ball field.
The t-ball field is okay.
One point they were talking about rotating that and putting a fence up, but
Well,
I with that.
I remember them
It's in
building
the
it,
sun.
and then the infield just grew back in, like it all.
Yeah, with that, and that's the huge thing that this foreman is hopefully going to be able to take over. Is manage and with the crew, but it's got to get dragged like every because that's what happened. Youth sports would come in, they'd all be perfect, and their season would end, they'd leave, and everything would go to heck.
Mhm.
So now that's really something the town should be handling. Because then once they grow over, it's done for.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work to get it back to where it was.
You almost wonder if better off leaving it grass
Yeah.
and let maybe just mow it short or something.
Mhm.
But all right, so sorry if we were talking. I mean, would it be better to try and meet at night or?
I'm definitely better like after hours. Like even after 4 is okay. It's just
right now I can do anything the week of the 16th, except Wednesday. I can never do Wednesdays.
So I do pickleball starting at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays.
So maybe Monday or Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
if either of those work. So it's 16 or 19.
Yeah.
Or
16 is fine.
I could do the Thursday. Looks like. Oh no, that's
19th is
19th.
Thursday. And what time?
confusing.
could we do like 5-ish? Only because I think
Sure.
there's a chance that
I
might
can
be
do
the
5.
only night water can meet.
Okay. Yeah.
So they'll meet at 7.
Yeah, at the very least, I can log on remotely. If
Yep.
you can't.
Oh shoot, that might be the date. I didn't put it on my calendar. We might need that date for interviews. Give me a second. See, I sent them to Jen. I might have. I've not gone through the applications in detail yet. I will hopefully do that this weekend. Hopefully we're in good shape. I kind of felt like we were getting less than we've gotten, but then it seemed like a bunch came through in the last couple of days.
Okay.
Not because of vacation, but he had time to fill out an application, right?
Lifeguards, yeah, maybe. Lifeguards, I'm sure it's a vacation week too. Lifeguards make me a little nervous. Sorry, I didn't even want to search that email I sent her. Interview dates. Oh. Yeah, I think tentatively 19 and 26 are dates we were going to need for interviews.
Okay.
So that might be no good. Is the 23rd an option?
Do we do the interviews? Are we part of the interviews or not?
No, I was going to have the like, I don't know what you call it, like the management team, I guess. So it's myself, Alan, and Jen.
Gotcha.
And our Jen, who's the assistant director, and then Jen O'Neill, who's HR. And then I'll talk to her. She'll probably want to come to the parks meeting, and then you guys can meet her and then present the recommendations. And I think what I've done in the past is sent all the here's all the applications. Here's the rationale I use to select these people for interviews. So in case like somebody or know something about somebody and say, oh, you should interview this kid or don't interview this kid. I know that's what AJ always said is like for a while he knew them all. And then, as
as they cycle
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know any of these kids.
I'm
anymore.
hoping my daughter's not interviewing. I'm hoping she.
I don't think she responded, or she did respond and said she wasn't coming back. I
Yeah.
think she's on my
Okay.
not returning list.
I want her to get a job where she works like 6 or 7 hours, 4 or 5 days a week, so she can pay for college.
I mean, that's what.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what Al,
actually pay for her college habits of dining out all the time.
Alan Diego says that to them all the time. He's like, don't take this the wrong way, but I don't want you to come back. Like, I'd love to have you, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's time to go out
Time
and
to move on. Do something else.
Yeah.
oh, maybe she didn't respond. It's still yellow. I'll have to look. I may have not updated this. Anyway. Yeah, maybe we may need to schedule these interviews before I can lock in a date. Is the 23rd an option if we did the 23rd at 5?
Why don't we put it on as if
Does that
you
work
can do
for
the
you?
23rd?
Or
If we can at least tentatively put it on there and then
because historic's gonna meet at 7. So then that would be it, and then I can do that date. Yeah, March is bad.
So February 23rd?
March,
March 23rd.
You can do that.
Yeah, I might have to do it remote, but
Okay.
I mean, should-
Or they actually, oh, you said pickleball, so the 24th, but that's no good. I'll find out. Yeah, it's March and April are ugly. I'm booked like every night. And I'll find out exactly what we're doing. I get everybody to confirm the interview dates.
Mhm.
We usually have to do like one afternoon and one like weekend in the evening. And we might still be able to meet the 19th later. I'll figure that out. I think that's everything I have. So the select board is tonight. They asked me to present the budget. I think mainly the revolving fund they had questions on.
Okay.
So I mean, you're welcome to attend that if you're around, or hopefully it's not too painful. I don't think our request is, we're not asking for a new position or $1 million.
Yeah.
I know. All right, so are we okay to adjourn?
Yeah, I think we're.
It's not recording. And then, I think there's an override coming for the schools,
No,
oh, is there?
a big one.
not surprising.
So I think that's kind of a